Nice try, Escalate. Nice try. Thankfully, I'm the broadcaster, so you can't ban me, but I'm sure that you would otherwise. Actually, didn't you ban me already in one of the chats? I think you did. Anyway, welcome to Y2Kid's talk show. Today we're gonna talk about CPL Royale Phase 2. So what is Phase 2? That's the round robin tournament. And why is it a talk show? Well, because we're not watching a replay yet. I want to give you some information on what the tournament is about. So we're in Phase 2 right now, and that's a round robin. So every week, all the players are scheduled to play against one another. And I have scoreboard to keep their scores, but unfortunately my streaming thing is not set up great to show you that. So I will do something crazy that no one should ever do, ever. And I'll show you my whole screen right now. Just so we can all enjoy the spreadsheet. So, we're looking at the spreadsheet in all of its glory right now. These are all the players that we have. And we're gonna keep their scores. This is a round robin phase, so we have everybody against everybody else. And technically the players were given 2 weeks to play their games, so I can cast all of them right now. And this is all the matches that have been drawn for week 1. The ones in green are the ones that we have today. So it will possibly be a quick stream, although I do spot a TVT here. So we never know. It might not be the fastest. But anyway, so we're gonna have these 3 games, and we also have the map of the week. It's gonna be Polypoid. Polypoid. I think I spelled it correctly this time. If not, Dada will always tell me. Who knows? Right, so that's what we've got. And back to the talk show. Yeah, 10 out of 10 production, I know, thank you. Was it a black screen? I cannot believe this. Come on. There we go. There we go. It's not a black screen right now. I mean, this is still the best production. Again, these are all the players that we have. And they're gonna play against each other every single week. For week 1, we had that random selection for your entertainment, and we've got Kiko and Exit that have submitted their replay. That's a TVT. We've got SilentStorm and earob, and we've got Azhi and Baal. So we have a TVT, TVP, and PvP. So no Zergs today. Sorry if any of you came to see any Zerg games, you will be disappointed. I have given them a warning and told them to play and upload games as we are casting right now, so maybe we can sneak a 4th game, but don't keep your hopes up. Anyway. Which one is more yellow? I don't know what you're talking about. We can get predictions, sure. Escalate should be able to do that. He's an admin. But yeah, anyway, so with that we are going into game number 1, and And it's gonna be Azhi versus Baal, going in alphabetic order. For anyone who is wondering. And let's go. Is everybody on a clan already? Everyone from the people that are in here? Yeah, I suppose Exit is in Nas, Kiko is in Ash. So is Baal. Azhi. Azhi does not have a clan, does he? Is he Nom? Oh, Exit joined Nom as well. You're growing. Anyway, so this time we've got Azhi with the unknown clan yet spawning in the top right, and we've got Baal spawning in the bottom left. Yeah, Zone's always been Nom. Azhi was in IRK and then joined Nom? Interesting. So you're slowly noming all the players, that's what you're saying. All the foreign BW community. So Baal has opted for that pylon positioning over here. It's not much, but at the beginning of the game, this makes quite a difference. So when you're in this base, on Polypoid, this pylon positioning actually is a bit dangerous. And this is because your options for your gateway are here, 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 and the one that Baal opted for. This is... if you make it here, you will be able to block it with 2 pylons if your opponent was doing proxy 9-9. If you make it here, it's again blockable with 2 to 3 pylons, and here is again 2 pylons. Here it's not the worst, but you're already screwing that gas mining and stuff. So that gateway positioning is a very long story that I was trying to say. He's most likely going for some sort of aggression, and he did build a second gateway. So he's going 10-12, and so is Azhi, but they are crossbones. And crossbones with 2 gateways is not really the best thing that you can hope, especially if you're trying to do any damage. But they're both are going for 3 zealots. They could get away with building 2 zealots only, since it's crossbone, but they didn't really know that. Now the first proc confirms. Normally when you're going 2 gate, especially if it's a 10-12 and you're planning to be aggressive, you should try and send your first probe across the map. Baal had some of his gas probes on gas stuck, but he fixed that. And right now we've got mirror built by both of them. The only difference is that we've got Azhi here trying to go for the aggression. And Baal still has his probe alive in Azhi's main. So, good engagement by Azhi. You can see that single zealot is already taking whole damage. Whereas, okay, that one also took some whole damage, I suppose. I don't really love the way Baal has set up his zealots, because you can... If you're really careful with your micro, you can actually put 3 zealots that are attacking this single zealot without these 2 being able to do anything, and these 2 can't really reinforce. But making 2 zealots attack this one is not so difficult. Baal going for some minor plays, but he's at least able to confirm that gun range is going up. And we've got gun range here for Baal as well. But Azhi, after killing 2 of Baal's pylons, is deciding to go for a quick nexus. And Baal can't yet confirm that because his probe died. He lost quite a bit of money in the pylons, but he really needs to send one of his dragoons or 2 to scout what his opponent is doing. Because right now Baal seems like he's going for a Reaver push, and if Azhi is allowed to get away with this early nexus, his Reavers will be on time to defend, or he'll have an overwhelming amount of dragoons. So you basically never want to let your opponent get away with such an early nexus. And as you can see, Azhi was scouting, making sure that Baal was not doing the same, and here he should be quite happy about it. The only risk that he could have, or he didn't account for, is DTs, because right now it's about 6:15 to 6:20 is when the DTs will be coming if they were crossbones. So that observatory is a bit late, but this is due to the fact that Azhi got such an earlier nexus. And here, as you can see, we've got 7 dragoons for Baal with 3 zealots, and we've got matching dragoon numbers for Azhi, but he's got this nexus running already. And he seems to be going for the 3rd and the 4th gateway, so he's not gonna go for Reavers of his own, but for Mass Dragoon. Excuse me. And Baal's Reaver is almost complete, so he will be pushing very soon. Azhi's 4th gateway is a bit late, so he's being a bit greedy with making non-stop probes, even though he has such an early nexus. So when you have managed to get that early nexus, and you see that your opponent is not going for a nexus of their own, you should sometimes skip probe production and cut some probes in order to not die to any early aggression. But that said, we've got 8 dragoons for Baal, and we already have 11 for Azhi, and Azhi is taking a great arc. 3 reinforcing dragoons will be out very soon, and Baal's Reaver may not do a lot of damage. That was a decent Scarab hit, but Azhi just has an overwhelming amount of dragoons here. So Azhi, with some good micro, would have been able to pick more of the Baal's dragoons and maybe let only a single or dragoon, or maybe 2 dragoons at most, escape. But as the situation unfolds, Azhi is very happy. He held Baal's push with minimal losses. He has a lot of gates up, and he saw that Baal was not yet mining with his observer that got sniped. And since Baal is going for Reavers, he doesn't really need to worry about DT. He will remake some observers at some point to spot and put them around the map, but they are not his main priority right now. He can afford to stay a bit more blind and play with a single ops or even no observers. Baal has some very nice positioning to try and intercept any dragoons moving, And Azhi is not grouping his army before engaging, so that is actually gonna be quite impactful. You can see that Azhi has the same Dragoon number, even though he lost 2 Dragoons, and if he led with these 3 Zealots and went up the ramp, he could have easily overwhelmed this army and then just snowball the game. Not necessarily win it, because it's quite hard to kill your opponent. They decide to turtle in their chokes and on their top of their ramp and so on, but he would have been in a really great spot. We've got Azhi going for the 3rd base now and transitioning to his Templar tech. He has enough gas to support that, and he should have some more observers on the map. Yeah, he's got two here and some spotter pylons, so that is great. The only thing that he's missing right now is an observer close to Baal's base, so he can scout the movement, but it seems like this observer is sort of trying to do that with this single zealot, and that observer needs to be positioned over here, and then we have full vision of Baal's movement. Also, Azhi going for his upgrades, because why not? Attack upgrades are pretty much the only upgrade that you really need to worry about in PvP. And Azhi unfortunately will not scout that there's a 3rd Nexus by... or Baal will not scout that there's a 3rd Nexus by Azhi. But he can pretty much guess it. Very good army positioning by Azhi. He's setting up his Dragoons so he can quickly... if Baal attacks over here, that's gonna be the worst decision that Baal can make. But his army positioning right now is such that even if Baal decides to come from this side, he'll be able to quickly make an arc. It seems like Baal may try to go for that attack path, and this is going to be overwhelmed if Baal decides to commit to this. We also have Storm, about 10 seconds away. And it seems like Azhi is going to be the impatient one. He's the one that is going to be attacking into, but you can see that Baal currently has better arc. Azhi has a lot of supply lead, so the arc disadvantage might not be as impactful. But still, Azhi is taking a lot of damage that he doesn't really need to. These storms might be what saves him, because the high ground here, despite Azhi's overwhelming numbers, would have been enough to make the forces even. We've got quite a good engagement here by both of our players. It seems that when everything settles, Azhi, just with his 40 supply lead at the beginning, now he's on 50 supply lead, will be just a bit too strong for his opponent. But this is expected. This is the aftermath of that really fast Nexus into a failed attack that we got in the early game. Azhi's +1 should be, yeah, it just finished, and he's starting +2 immediately. Very vigilant of him. Now he will be grouping some of his army, and he will be attacking. Honestly, that amount of zealots is probably enough. The Dragoons cannot really fight that many zealots, and he is surrounding the Baal's army from all angles, and GG's calls. Baal was playing a bit from behind this whole game, and unfortunately couldn't quite get a grip of the game and come back. But that's it. Well done for Azhi. This is our PvP for the night. Remember, in phase 2 or the round robin, every win matters. We are gonna pin 1 point to Azhi. Azhi's board already, and yeah. Also, Azhi gets nominal reward of $2 bounty per match, or any player does. So $2 already go to Azhi. So with that, let's go and quickly go back to the production value. Find Azhi and Baal. We're gonna mark their match as played. And we're just gonna give Azhi 1 point. Alright. So with that, let's go back to game number 2. Game number 2 will be the TVT that we have by exiting Kiko. I know it's the most exciting match that most of you are waiting for. So without any further ado, let's go into the TVT. The map is Polypoid. The map for week 1, the map is Polypoid always, and every single week we have different maps. All the maps are selected to be from the CPL9 map pool. So all the maps that you see will be familiar. Kiko and exit. So we've got Kiko spawning in the top right corner of the map Polypoid in red, playing for Ash. And we've got exit with his anonymous tag, although we do know that he's already playing for Nom, spawning in the Tio in the bottom right corner. This is TVT, and honestly, in times like this, I really miss Snow because he's got some great TVT knowledge. And by the 2 or 3 games that we casted together, I do know a bit more about the matchup, that I'm able to cast it slightly better, but I'm still not by any stretch of good TVT caster or a great one. I will make my best to give you some details about the game, but will not go a lot into details. Anyway, so we've got both players going for their barracks. No BBS in the center. I was told that this is not a very popular one, but already we've got a slight build deviation. We've got exit going for some very quick gas, and I'm pretty sure that when you go for that quick of a gas, you most of the time want to make some sort of a wall so that you don't show your super early gas to your opponent. Because that allows you as Terran to tech slightly more or faster, and your Terran opponent has to keep guessing what you're going for. And for Kiko, we do have a gasless expand, so it's going to be gasless expand versus quick gas. So that will be quite exciting, and we've got 2 SCVs on gas after the factory has been planted. So it's not 3 SCVs, so I think that says that it's unlikely to be 2 port rate. But still, it's going to be some sort of a tech build. 2 factories. We have 2 factories already started by exit. If it was 3 on gas, then maybe we could have had the braid play, which is great. I mean, I love watching braids in TVT. Kiko will be starting his own factory very soon. And I don't think that Exit will try to go for 3 factories into a vulture flood. It's a possibility, but he is getting way too much gas for that. Kiko scouts the vulture, so he knows that it was a quick factory built. And now also sees the scouting SCV by exit. The SCV will be killed. And we have a little bit of aggression by exit here. I don't think this is gonna do all too much. The bunker is strong. And vultures kind of suck against buildings. So with some repair from the SCVs and with the first tank, this aggression should be neutralized. Exit floating his factory so that it's easier to macro, but the consequence of that is that he's losing some production time. So exit run past the bunker with his vultures, which is, yeah, the Marines simply cannot fight the vultures, as you can see. And he will be going for a lot of SCV kills. So I think just the tank for Kiko was slightly late. Or he just could not block the aggression so well. Regardless, he held the vulture harassment, and his tank is ready to deal with everything else. We've got 2 CCs up and running for both players, and Kiko is slightly behind in terms of SCVs, but that is not such a big deal. If the worker count is significant in all the other matches, ZVZ especially, in TVT it's not as much. You obviously don't really want to be 4 workers behind, but when you are, it's not the end of the world. Kiko though, going for up the tech tree faster than exit, so he already has his starport and he already has a raid down. But exit has anti-air just in time. No armory for Kiko yet. And exit will not be starting his armory upgrades quite yet. He is busy microing. And this is something that you don't really want to see in any matchup. You don't want to let the Terran have siege tanks near your natural. Are there any SCVs on the way? There aren't any SCVs on the way yet, so this contain is not going to be as strong as it could be. But we've got Vulture on the high ground providing vision for all these other units. Eventually we'll get a siege tank as we did right now, and this push will be held, but Exit is doing a really great job with the aggression here. He's denying all mining for Kiko's natural. And he has been doing that for quite a while now. Floating a bit of money and losing his barracks sucks. He cannot throw down extra factories as he wants right now, but he is gonna go for a third base instead. Going to try and resort to the trusty old strategy, when ahead, get more ahead. By the way, if anything is not great with the stream, let me know and I'll try to fix that. I see the chat is quiet, and that's usually a good sign, but especially for my streams, I don't know about any others, but usually means that you're all able to enjoy the content and don't need to shout at me all the time for forgetting to switch the overlays or the scenes or something like that. So it is appreciated. We do also have, this is part of the CPL9 Royale, and we do have our chat commands, CPL / exclamation mark CPL Royale and exclamation mark donate if you're interested in contributing to the tournament, or if you'd like to know more about what the tournament is. And this is going to be quite an uphill battle for Kiko. We do have Exit even with an upgrade advantage already. Kiko will at least be able to finally secure his natural for mining. But whenever you need to fight for your natural, you're just not in a great spot. Exit will have the upgrades. No science facility started yet, but it's a bit too early, so you want to be starting the science facility maybe in like 10 to 15 seconds. Because that will allow you to start your +2 attack as soon as possible. And +2 is a great breakpoint in TVT, because +2 siege tanks kill enemy siege tanks regardless of their armor. We do have Kiko inching slightly forward. One thing that you can do when you don't have +2 on your tanks is damage them with something else, like the raids, for example. Oh, very good micro by Kiko. We do have 5 factories for Exit. And no science facility started yet, so he might be just trying to end it on an overwhelming amount. I mean, he is already containing his opponents, and he's reinforcing the contain heavily. And yet, I do think that the lack of science facility was a mistake. He's going for a second factory, second armory right now, and we do have the science facility finally also started, but that is going to be a bit late. Yeah, you'll see +2, +1 will finish, and the science facility will not be not quite close. 200 HP more needed. So could have streamlined the build slightly more, but regardless, Kiko is trying to set up for a third base. I don't know how he is planning on breaking the contain. There are not a lot of units. Most of Exit's units are sitting at the rally point, which will give Kiko the chance to push out. So Exit already realizing that he cannot really contest that third base, but he's gotta be happy about it. It's... Oh! So Kiko will be going for third and fourth base. Not just third base. Fourth CC is ready, or third CC is ready and fourth is building at the third base location. So I expect he will try to get that base fairly soon. And he has quite a lot of SCVs. One thing about PvT that I learned is that you actually, if you want to start your command center, you want to start it like over here, because if there's a vulture patrolling, they will most likely patrol where the mineral line is, and if you're building it over here, it will be outside of vision. I thought it was quite cute. And Kiko seems like he might be able to secure his fourth command center. Which will allow this game to continue. But if he wants that game to continue, he really needs to stop that incoming push by Exit, and he is pushing with a lot of tanks. So he has the numbers advantage, but Kiko has a lot of... Well, he has 6 siege tanks already in position, and now he's got 8. Exit has 13 siege tanks currently, but they can't really push in siege fire. It's gonna be a suicide, and with the raids, Kiko Exit has no other option but to back off. Seems like Kiko will be picking up an extra siege tank, always nice. And Exit has managed to snag his 4th CC in a hidden base. Kiko clicked somewhere over here and then shift move clicked his vultures right here. I can only guess that the intention for this was to scout the 9 o'clock base and then move his vultures right here. He didn't scout it, and unfortunately for him, that is exactly where Exit is sneaking his base. Yeah, these vultures are on the lookout. They want to confirm what's going on. They want to confirm if Exit is on 4 bases or 5 bases, or if he's still on 3. But unfortunately, he missed that, and he's not gonna see it. He had the right idea, but not the unfortunate execution. And if he's paying attention, he will see that he kills an SCV right now, probably thinking that Exit is trying to take the extra main base. And yeah, now even denying this command center. But unfortunately for him, that's not the full story. There is a base mining here. The gas is Maynard. I don't really realize how this is screwing with the mining of the gas. I guess the third should have been over here if he was not to disturb the mining, or over here rather. Ooh, Exit really wants to land this CC. This is currently taking a lot of damage. Hikodo not paying attention to his raids. He is trying to reinforce with vultures. But vultures alone are not going to be able to stop this army. Oh, right now his raids are actually managed to catch this base. And yeah, as soon as you know that your opponent has a base, you can sneak some vultures. They do wonders in killing workers. And Exit needs to repair that CC. It's very vital for him, but he also needs to defend his 9 o'clock. So many things happening right now in this. Ooh, and Kiko, I missed that, I'm sorry. Kiko seems to have dropped some Goliaths in... Exit seems to have dropped some Goliaths in Kiko's main base. And seems like the drop did quite a bit of damage. A lot of these buildings are damaged, and that Goliath has 5 kills. Exit advancing slowly towards the mineral-only Kiko. But Kiko denied this 9 o'clock base. So right now we are in a position where Kiko denied Exit's base and managed to keep all his bases. Sure, he did lose quite a bit of SCVs and had to pull SCVs of mining that mineral line, but he should be quite happy about it. And here comes drop number 2. I think this is going to do even more damage than the previous one because there are very little reinforcement. Although the positioning that Exit decides to take is a bit funny. He probably is guessing that the reinforcing units from the factories could have taken the dropships out and everything that drops from them. So he is dropping in that mineral line. And Kiko is... quite low on workers. He's got a healthy amount mining over here. Decent amount over here, but that's it. So he's got SCVs for 2, maybe 2.5 bases, and he currently has 4 bases and this 5th CC up and running with no SCVs mining. Exit on the other side has gone up to 80 workers, and his main base is already out. His natural is almost dry, and the 3rd base that he took is running... It's still healthy, but it doesn't have a lot going yet anymore. Where is Kiko's armory? There it is. So +2 has just been started. +2 already done. Hey 440, you're not late. You can still play some of your games if you manage to catch some of your opponents. I will cast another game after this, and if you manage to play one of your series and upload the replay, I will also cast that. But if you can't, or if the others are unavailable right now, just sit back and enjoy the games. That's also appreciated. Versus who? You had to play versus earob, I think, this week. And I think maybe Zune, but I know Zune is unavailable. You should ping earob in the Discord. Anyway, back to this game. We've got Exit going for an aggression, trying to deny Kiko of taking the 2nd main. And has some armies that are not really in sync. And as a result, Kiko will be able to hold his 2nd main for now. Kiko's +2 is done. He's starting +3 right now. That's exit, sorry, not Kiko. And Kiko... Okay, fine. Kiko's +2 is also done. He's starting +3. So what I said was not entirely false. Exit going to up to 92 workers, that is a bit much. And both players scanning like there is no tomorrow. They've got mines, they've got scans, they've got everything. Exit making 4 starports. I think this is one of the reasons why Exit is up to 90 workers. He's got 12 just idling. No additional starports over here. But he is doing a great job of diverting attention from his 4 starports that are slowly building in at the 3 o'clock. And he will be able to get some siege tanks on top of that high ground, which means that most likely Kiko will have to surrender the second main, for now at least. Seems like the 4 raids are going starports, are going raids. And we've got Cloak on the way as well. We've got air weapons being researched. And Kiko will be transitioning into heavy raid play. The 2 raids by Kiko are almost able to, well, they will eventually, given enough time, defend this army. But it's not really gonna be cost efficient for Kiko. He's taking a lot of losses, and he's forced to go back to a corner. But on the bright side, he has not surrendered the second main. And now Kiko is taking the 9 o'clock. Exit roaming with his dropships. Slowly pushing all the armies of Kiko off the map and into their defensive positions. How many raids do we have? We've got 2 raids over here, 3 raids. And I thought we would have more. Kiko going for a bunker here to try and screw up with the pathing, but GG's call. He cannot really hold that second main. This is his main source of income. So GG is called. Kiko and Exit played their games. We're gonna reflect that in our wonderful chart. Kiko and Exit have also played their game, and that was a point for Exit. Okay, so Let's go to our last game of the day, unless 440 can conjure an opponent and give us a quick replay for that. But I don't think there's anyone else that is online currently. In any case, 440, you should coordinate with your opponents and play your games. It's not too late. I will just cast them next week. It's too late to cast them now. But regardless, so we had three players of each race for the CPL Royale. And this was actually not engineered by me. Oh, seems like Azhi is here. Azhi, then 440 can play if you want. Actually, if you do want to play, I can cast your game live. Is it for this week though? Azhi, no. Your game is not set up to be week 1, so you should play your game and upload it in the Discord. I will cast it whenever. So, without any further instructions, we've got PVT and possibly our last game for the day. We've got SilentStorm, aka the first law, spawning in the top right, and we've got earob spawning in the bottom left. earob was the third buy-in slot as far as I can remember, and he qualified. He was the runner-up in 2 of the qualifiers. So he was really close to qualifying without the buy-in slot, but he couldn't, and he got the buy-in in the end. And we've got 440, our winner of the third qualifier, here in the chat. Let's see what build earob is going for. earob has very solid PvT. Azhi is currently was the highest rated Protoss in the regular season, but I don't think earob is very far off Azhi's skill level. And his PvT definitely is no slouch. He is scouting, he sees a single marine. But he can't tell anything by that yet. SV comes, sees nose outs, and sees the cyber core spinning. Marines will try to push out and kill that probe. earob seems to be sending his probe back. That's interesting. So SilentStorm has seen that earob has delayed his first Dragoon quite a while, and as a result, manages to get a single Marine into that bunker. This will prevent earob from taking his Nexus very fast, and especially now that there's 2 Marines in the bunker, he will need a lot of time. Unfortunately for earob, he was not able to deny that second Marine from going into the bunker, and didn't really intercept the Marines moving out with his second Dragoon. But at least he managed to kill the third Marine. It was not 9 racks, it was a factory, it was a barracks into factory, very standard play. From SilentStorm, he just saw that earob was delaying all of his units. And his first Dragoon was really late, so he decided to punish that. earob definitely had the chance of holding this and not letting any of the Marines reach the bunker with good blocking, but he couldn't quite do that. And we have SilentStorm just reinforcing with a lot of his forces. A single... Okay, one Marine is taking a lot of damage. The point is that he tries to get some of these other Marines into the bunker, but instead he loses a Marine, and now there's only one Marine into the bunker. Not very effective. Let's see what the focus fire is. He's not focusing the weakened Dragoon, which might allow earob to snipe that tank. One of the Dragoons falls, but with better focus he could have possibly killed 2 Dragoons. When all of that is settled though, okay, I was gonna say earob is managing to stabilize quite well given everything that has gone this game, but that Dragoon, well, that mine single-handedly gave the advantage back to SilentStorm. earob will be mining from his Nexus, which is very... committing some Dragoons to that... committing some of the probes to fight out bunker. He didn't really need to do that, but after losing, he took 2 of the Dragoons to a free mine, I suppose. Is siege done though? Siege is not quite done yet. There is a single Marine in the bunker. You obviously have to... You cannot let it shoot freely all the time, but you don't really have to respect it. You can die for the tank. But we don't have enough gateways to hold this. The Nexus is down, and earob's answer will be Reaver drop. This Reaver drop really needs to do insane amounts of damage. Oh, but we have the one of the turrets already finishing. earob will be able to defend this, and mind you, there is no siege yet. And because there is no siege, earob can continue to be very annoying, but spending such a long time into the... oh my god. Spending such a long time into the main base has given SilentStorm enough time to get his turrets in position at the natural base. That game is a bit chaotic, but this single tank will finally go down, and one Marine in the bunker will not be enough to do anything. So earob will be able to take his Nexus finally and his natural, but he really needs to go with his Chateau and Reaver if he is to come back into this game. He has already invested quite a lot in making the Chateau and lost the Chateau and the Reaver already, and also has spent 200 to get that speed upgrade. single vulture sneaking. It will be taking a long time trying to scout for third bases, etc., which will give earob enough time that his dragoons should be popping by the time this vulture attempts to go into the main, if it does. earob cannot do this. He can pick off the turret near the natural. That is no problem, but he cannot commit. He cannot bulldog this attack. There are still no turrets in the main base, and of course, me as an observer, I know this, but earob does not. But if he tries, he can inch and kill that SCV trying to build that turret, and then deny some more timing, mining, or even kill SCVs. earob can still sneak a shuttle into SilentStorm's main. His go-to strategy will be to take a third base, but he doesn't really have enough probes to support his natural base. He's not producing any probes, and yet he's trying to take third base. So he's doing decent damage in stopping SilentStorm's move out. But he really needs to recover his eco, and he's not building probes. If he's not building probes, it means that he is looking to... Well, he's committing very heavily into this attack. So this attack has to do something, or he loses outright. I believe he has vision. Yeah, he can see that this single SCV is building a command center, but is he gonna use that knowledge? I don't know. If he was actually paying attention. Two rivers with a speed shuttle though. Formidable force every time. Turn Nexus finally done as well. But we are still not producing probes. Vultures will be able to get into the third base, but there are no probes yet mining from it. So it doesn't matter as much. One probe goes down, two probes, that's gonna be it. And honestly, two probes at this point is still a lot of damage, because earob is just so hurting economically. But even two lost probes are making a huge difference. And we've got 5 factories for SilentStorm versus only 2 gateways for earob. So earob has gone for the reavers, went for shuttle speed as well, and seems like he's taking 2 arbiters right now. So he's advancing his tech tree really fast, but he does not have any economy to support that. And as a result, he's still on only 2 gateways. SilentStorm going up to 6 factories right now. And we'll be adding his science facility and control tower, so he can build science vessels, which will really allow him to push out on the map. He's got 2-1, he's got +1 going, so he doesn't have 2-1 yet, and he's far away from having 2-1. So this is one thing that's going for earob. But despite having this nexus that SilentStorm knows about, he can't really send any reinforcement because there's the vultures and a lot of mines. So this nexus is most likely going down. A single shuttle with some reavers will not be enough to stop it. But will be enough to clear all the tanks, and honestly this is... Ooh, this is really what matters. Yeah, a single shuttle cannot dish out enough damage, unfortunately, to kill all of this. Ooh, and we have a dropship to answer earob's shuttle. earob now realizes that there's a minefield, will be forced to stop advancing with his goons, and is probably looking desperately for an observer, and he's got one over here. He doesn't really realize, only now realizes, and will clear this, but the nexus is already gone. Taking a fort base at the mineral only as a response, but this is a timing where his opponent is also taking fort base. So situation looking pretty dire for earob. But on the bright side, he's finally managing to retake some map control. First Arbiter is out. His pro production could still be a bit better, but it's recovering right now. So if earob can force this into a longer game, he might have a chance to come back. But then he'll need to play from behind versus a Terran that's ahead in upgrades, and this is something that as a Protoss you never really want to do. It's possible, but you need to rely on your Terran opponent making some mistakes. Oh, earob had a great idea with trying to drop some units at night, 12 o'clock. But unfortunately the execution was not as great and ended up losing the shuttle with some of his units. How many gateways do we have? We've got 9 gateways up and running, so our gateway count is starting to look healthy. And we've got 9 factories for SilentStorm. So ideally we would like more gateways still, because we cannot match Terran production with equal number of production facilities. And also we're floating 1800 minerals at this point. Our Arbiter is here though, and we've got leg speed. We don't have any high Templar yet. But this first stasis could have been better. But stasis 4 tanks, this is not an insignificant amount. The mine tracks were good, and the Dragoons are able to get on top of the tanks. This is starting to look good for earob, but that defense matrix was very clutch, saving the siege tanks, and the Dragoons couldn't really pull back in time. Yeah, I was gonna say, SilentStorm had his armies near the rally point to Protoss, and Protoss did not have a second. Gateway farm, so GG was justified by earob here. Unfortunately, the early game, he tried to play a bit greedy and got punished, and this is what happens as a result. Alright, and this is our final... Yep, that was our final game for this cast. Let's go and update the scoreboard. We had earob playing versus SilentStorm, and SilentStorm takes a win. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for joining me today in this impromptu cast. We had 3 games. I think they were good. It's been a relatively short stream, just over 1 hour 20 minutes. But yet, thank you for joining, and we'll do a new stream next week around the same time. Right now I'm gonna go and post you to 0. So if you'd like to stay and rate 0 with me, I'll be appreciated. If not, I'll see you next week.